What's up, people? Zekatech here, bringing another reaction video to I used to work at McDonald's. Used to work at McDonald's pasta, or creepy pasta, or whatever you want to call it. Kind of like that one that I saw one time.
Of course, he used to work out at McDonald's.
That's why I'm watching this. I worked in a McDonald's for 5 years before we moved out here in Wyoming. Now I work at a freaking Wendy's. Let's see what this is about. Creepy stuff, because I saw one, it was a creepy pasta about Chuck E. Cheese. That was some creepy crap. Even though maybe at the same time, I don't know if I should believe it, but at the same time, it was creepy. Let's see what McDonald's has to do with creepy crap, because I work there. And if I hear something creepy about this, I'm never going there again. This might scar me.
You don't even eat at McDonald's.
Not that much anymore, but there's once in a blue moment I might. And if this really freaks me out, I ain't going back. There we go.
Creepy pasture.
Pastors.
I used to work at McDonald's in the middle of nowhere just outside of Port Richmond, Virginia. I know what you're thinking. Spooky, right?
Yeah.
But a few months ago, something terrible happened to one of the staff that for some reason justified erasing the place off of the map. Not to say I was sad to see the place go. Now, the thing about fast food is that it attracts two kinds of workers. Poor but intelligent people who are working towards a bigger picture, and total losers who have given up all hope. I belong to the latter group, but Grace, man, she was the queen of the former.
With the Chuck E. Cheese one?
When we both started working together about 8 months ago, I knew straight away that this girl was so far out of my league. She was so cool and down to earth and gorgeous. She had this way of just accepting people and finding a way to admire them, no matter the person. It didn't matter that she was beautiful, educated, and better than me in every way. When you are the standard suburban moms set their kids not to be, you don't come across that kind of acceptance every day, you know? After months of working together, yeah, we got pretty close. Not what you're thinking. So it must have been around mid-June, and we had both been working the drive-thru together for a couple of weeks. When you spend a large portion of your life serving ungrateful people from a tiny window, you get real familiar with the view. From my little box, you could see the grassy hill that separated the drive-thru from the road. Said road and beyond was a Walmart parking lot. I spent so much time staring out of that window, I even started to recognize the cars that drove by. But after my first few weeks, there was one in particular that I started to look out for. I thought it must have been the ex-con jitters or growing up where I did, but I started to get a real bad feeling about this truck as days went by. It was an old Ford truck, one of the 87 F-150 models. Once upon a time, it would have been a real beaut, all bright reds with a white stripe down the middle. Now, the red body of the truck was rusted beyond recognition, and the white stripe was a sickly yellow, almost like rotting teeth. The windows of the truck were the only things that survived the past 20 years unscathed, as they clearly weren't stock. The whole truck was so heavily tinted I couldn't understand how the thing was still on the road. The police are real eager around here. Or maybe that's just been my experience. Anyway, the first time I saw the truck, it was parked in the lot across the road opposite to me. Nothing unusual about that. Other than the creepy child abduction look, it was just another car in the lot.
Yeah, creepy
so
child look. Yeah, no, I'm out.
The next day from my booth overlooking the drive-thru, I saw the car again. And again. And again. I saw it maybe 30 or 40 times that day.
I'll give a story about
I think it was just driving in circles for some reason.
I had a car do that.
Suffice to say, at this point, I was starting to get really suspicious of this truck.
Not a truck.
It was looking quiet that night, but the manager was always on my case if I ever left my post. So I gave Grace a quick text and asked her to watch the window while I used the bathroom. When I came back, I asked her about the truck, and she got real quiet. Said that a few minutes after I left, she saw the truck come down the road and then slam on the brakes for no apparent reason. She said it stayed there just doing nothing in an empty road. That it felt like whoever was in there was staring at her. I guess it freaked her out when I told her that I had seen it around as well, because she went back to work, then went home before her shift had finished. It was the first time I had seen her anything less than offensively happy. The next day, Grace didn't show up, so I covered her drive-thru shift. There was a big line that evening, so instead of looking out for the truck, I was really focused on working through the white trash piling up along the drive-thru. So focused, in fact, that I didn't even notice the truck when it came to the window.
Oh, hell no!
No one had taken any orders from the driver, so as far as I could tell, it had just driven up out of nowhere. The truck stopped at my window, and when I finally noticed, I couldn't even breathe. My eyes were locked on the tar-black window, straining for a sight of the driver, but I couldn't see anything. I just got this feeling like I'm staring down the barrel of crude oil, and there was something in there staring back at me. I didn't know what else to do, so I was just having a staring contest with this window. Then, as suddenly as it appeared, the truck raced off, tires screeching as it plowed over the grass across the wrong lane and raced off into the night. I tried to tell the manager, but of course he just told me to get a grip and deal with my stuff. What a dick. The next day, Grace came back to work, and she seemed back to her old self. I was still kind of shaken up from last night, and when I told her what had happened, we were both pretty spooked. After a quick smoke break, we both agreed that it was just probably some creep playing a joke on us.
Yeah, I still call
But we'd both keep an eye just in case. I saw it only briefly that night. It was driving real slow down the road beyond the hill.
Okay.
Its lights were off, so I could only see the truck by the lights of the car behind. Behind it, the traffic was building up, and you could hear horns blaring, followed by curses that were cut short as people got close enough to see the windows. Before long, the truck raced off again, apparently done for the evening. When time came for my regular bathroom break, Grace was happy enough to take my spot at the window again. That was the last time I saw her. I must have been gone 2 minutes at the most, but by the time I had returned to the window, Grace was gone, and the sound of screeching tires pierced the night. I ran into the back and called the police, told the manager what I had thought happened, and pushed my way into the office to look at the security tapes. The manager was busy hollering regulations beyond the door, but I didn't really care. As I turned on the computer and set up the tape, I saw what had happened. The cameras had picked up everything. On the screen, it played out like a bad horror movie. The truck had rolled up out of nowhere as soon as I had gone. And with the lights off, Grace had seen it too late. She tried her best to get out of the way. But before she could, something came bursting out from inside the truck. 2 long, thin, black arms that seemed more like dead branches than limbs, thrust from the darkness where the driver's window should be. And they wrapped themselves around Grace's mouth and torso. To reach that far, they must have been around 6 feet long at least. It was over in about 2 seconds. Grace was pulled headfirst from the drive-thru window. And that was that. The police closed the restaurant after they took my statement. All of us, management included, got let go so fast they actually had to pay us unemployment. We've been looking for her ever since. It's been 6 months now, and it turns out Grace's family are incredibly awesome people. One of her uncles has even taken me on as an apprentice mechanic. It turned out that one of my friend's dads was a police officer who was in fact working the case. The guy absolutely hates me, but my friend finally managed to get some information out of him. Today, after we met up and spoke about it, I'm convinced that whatever happened in that booth was even more sinister than I could ever imagine. The police haven't turned up anything. Turns out the plate number I gave them for the truck actually belongs to a car on the other side of the country. They never even managed to see the damn thing on any other cameras around the area, and they've checked them all. It's like the truck picked her up, blasted out of the drive-thru, and vanished into the night. Well, There was one tape they didn't get to look at more than briefly. According to my friend, his dad told him his whole department is up in arms because of a couple of suits that came in and confiscated the original tape maybe 2 days after the kidnapping. Told the whole police force to drop the case and just leave it to the feds. No one believes me. Not even Grace's family. Even the cops that saw the tape are keeping it real quiet for some reason. But I'm not crazy. I saw that window, and I know that whatever took Grace from the booth that day wasn't anything natural. These days, I'm always looking at the road. And even when I'm working in the garage, I keep an eye out on the horizon, waiting for the truck with the tar black windows.
The next time you do see something like that, you call the police. Instead of waiting forever for every time he shows up and then one day he steals your friend that was never seen again. And speaking of that, why in the beginning of the show they said they closed it down for whatever reason because something happened to an employee that nobody knows? They probably put people's body parts. That's probably why they closed the case. And the girl that was kidnapped, you know why the cops are keeping it quiet? Because they're involved. Hey, cops are... Any of you cops seeing this? You want to take somebody for a ride? Take me, and you're slick. Because you ain't stuffing my body in a grinder for all the meat for a McDonald's. I'm just making shit up, but they probably really did some shit like that. That's what people say. It's fucking baby parts in McDonald's meat that we're eating humans.
What the fuck?
People's eyeball. Yeah, I don't believe that, but it's weird. But no, for real, the girl being kidnapped though, yeah, no. When you know somebody's kidnapped and her parents aren't even gonna believe him, how can you not believe the dude that witnessed it on a videotape and put it all in, and then you just want to sit there and be like, yeah, we don't believe you though. If you could have believed him for 1 second, you might have found your daughter quicker instead of 6 months. Anyways. Oh, sorry. There was actually something I was going to say. There was some girl, every time she would come through the window, I still remember what she would order. She would always order like 2 burritos. 2 burritos and stuff. 2 burritos with hot sauce through the drive-thru at McDonald's. Then she would drive around the McDonald's like 6 or 7 times before she leaves. Every time she came through the drive-thru. And I was always staring at her like, what the It was like an older lady though, so it wasn't totally that creepy, or I would have been totally creeped out if it was an younger person, like a 18-year-old kid or something. Next thing you know, they come around and pew, 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 pew. Hell no. Yeah, it was creepy. She would do it all the time. I'm like, you're wasting your gas doing that. Why don't you just get your food and go home? Why are you doing that? It's so weird. I always wanted to yell out the window, what are you doing? Why do you keep doing that? You're like creeping the hell out of everybody in this flipping McDonald's. We're afraid that you're trying to get way into our McDonald's to kill us. Even though you're an old lady, old people have killed people too. And are sickos. And a bunch of other stuff. Anyways, I'll find more reaction videos. Peace. See you people next time.